Good morning, everyone. It's Sal Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. How is everyone feeling this morning? How is everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well and everyone is having a fantastic morning so far, or afternoon, or evening, or maybe sleeping. Who knows what's going on at the moment, where you are in the world. No discrimination here. We're everywhere. We're worldwide. Stretford Post is worldwide, guys. Worldwide. I hope you're doing well. Let me just have a look at something. Let me just double check this. I hope everyone is doing absolutely fine. Three, four, one. Yep, so basically we are here and there is more news in regards to Manchester United this week, of course, and we're going to bring it to you right now. But before I do that, please, could I ask you a favor? Could you kindly subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video? That'd be absolutely brilliant. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely perfect. If you guys could smash a like, subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely amazing. I'm well over 3,000 now. Thank you guys who subscribe. Big respect, big love to you guys for smashing likes and subscribing all year round. It's been an absolute pleasure doing streams with you guys. Now let's get into it. In regards to Manchester United are in for three players, which are Fofana, Berg and Rabiot. These three players could be done at a discount price of around 45 million. Are we being delusional here? Manchester United could do three deals. Rabiot for free. They could get Berg for, I believe, 25 million. They can get Berg for 25 million. And they believe they can get a decent fee for Fofana as well. Manchester United are looking between the fee of 45 to 50 million for the three of them, which will be an absolute coup, wouldn't it, if Man United did manage to do that deal, if they managed to get three players for the price of Ugarte. Now, it's not all about numbers, of course, it's about quality as well. We can't just say, oh, we're going to buy three players. Just because we got three players doesn't mean that is better than Ugarte, does it? It means that, you know, these players are not worth as much as Ugarte. I'm very disappointed what's happened with Ugarte. Very disappointed all round in regards to that deal. Absolute waste of time. In my opinion, we wasted a lot of time on Ugarte. And if we can bring in three players for Fofana, Berg and Rabiot, who are free transfers, of course, who is a free transfer, of course, that would sort of soften the blow a little bit, but are they as good? Good morning, Alpha, my friend. How you doing? Hi, I'm back. All the big flop out, and sure, Harry, Anthony and Sancho, as you say, every single morning, mate, and you're absolutely right in regards to that. We do need to get rid of these players. We really do need to start removing these mercenaries from our club, but unfortunately it's becoming more difficult than it is actually said. You know, at the end of the day, these players have to want to leave. Number one, they're on contract, so they can't exactly just leave. We can't just kick them out the door unless we pay off their contracts, which we cannot do. And my way out, good morning, my friend. Zubimendi to Liverpool, is it true? Well, yes. At the end of the day, Manchester United and Liverpool are interested in Zubimendi, but Liverpool, the difference between Liverpool and Manchester United is that Liverpool seem to have the funds. We don't. We don't have the funds, unfortunately. Rafael Leo, Kvaratskhelia come to Man United. Oh, mate, if that happened, that'd be absolutely ecstatic, wouldn't it? That'd be amazing if those players come. If we got 200 million to spare, we got 200 million to spare. I don't think we have. We can't even get Ugarte through the door, which is crazy. We're looking for a triple deal at the moment between Fofana, Berg and Rabiot for 45 to 50 million for the three. So it's a bargain package. A bargain package Manchester United are looking for at the moment, which is typical Glazer summer, isn't it? It's becoming a typical Glazer summer, really, isn't it? I like Fofana, of course. I'm a big fan of Fofana. I'm not familiar with Berg in that aspect. He's a good player, but is he the player we need? Rabiot, of course, is a very experienced player. He's a player that adds experience to our team. So I like more Kvaratskhelia. He's a good player, mate. A lot of teams in the world would like him. A winger, of course, though. Do we need another winger? I mean, he's a fantastic player. He made things happen for Georgia, didn't he, during the European Championships? A very good player, in my opinion. Now, Manchester United could get a deal for three players for 45 to 50 million. That would be a coup, and that would be soften the blow in somewhat in regards to Ugarte. If we got Fofana, if we got Berg, and we got Rabiot, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Will it happen? Remains to be seen. Time is of an essence. Time is running out at the moment. We have Manchester City on Saturday. We cannot let this slip. This window is coming day by day. Tick tock, tick tock. That's what's happening at the moment in regards to Manchester United. They need to get these players out the door and get the players in, because time is of an essence. 8 days before the first game of the season against Fulham. A few days before we play Manchester City in the Charity Shield. We cannot be wasting time here. Things need to get done. This is becoming a little bit embarrassing in regards to Manchester United, because of the start Manchester United had in this window was so good. It's disappointing, really, isn't it? Good morning, Cohen. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. I want no part of Rabiot. We might as well go after Ederson from Atalanta. Yeah, and I'm going to get into Ederson right now. Ahmed Kvaratskhelia in Man United for a number 9 assist. Ahmed and Kvaratskhelia. You love Kvaratskhelia. I do as well. I was in Naples last month, and great player, of course, but well loved there, and it's going to cost an arm and a leg to get him to come to Manchester United, of course. Now, in regards to Ederson, Manchester United, according to Tutto Atalanta, have come in for a bid for Ederson. Manchester United like Ederson. It has been quiet on Ederson front for a number of weeks now in regards to transfers, etc. But Manchester United are believed to be interested in Ederson. He will cost around £38 million, 45 million euros, which is not too bad in regards to a midfielder. So it begs the question, why didn't we go after this player before? Obviously, Ugarte was the first choice in regards to our midfield, but Ederson is a fantastic player. Of course, contributed heavily towards Atalanta winning the Conference League last season, which was their biggest trophy in their history, to be honest with you. And Ederson played a big part in that. So why have we not gone after Ederson before? We should have got a player like that through the door a long time ago. £38 million. We could probably knock him down to about 35, 34 million, which will be an absolute steal. At the end of the day, a very, very good player. And we got these conveyor belt of names that keep coming on our way. When we got these names that we were mentioning weeks ago. I mentioned it on the show weeks ago about Ederson. You guys have been mentioning about Ederson weeks ago. And this still should have been done a long, long time ago, guys. The players don't want to leave. Yeah, exactly. This is the problem with Manchester United, Larouk. Players don't want to leave. Good morning, by the way, my friend. They don't want to leave. This is the problem Manchester United are having. And this was always going to be an issue, isn't it? You know, no new deal. Go on. Yeah, so basically Manchester United are interested in Ederson, and it could cost around 38 million euros, of 38 million pounds, 45 million euros in regards to if we wanted to entice Ederson away from Atalanta. I'm a big fan of Ederson. There was João Neves, there was Ugarte, there was Ederson, there's Zubamendi. These are the type of players we need to be looking at, in my opinion. Even Andre Neto from Fluminense is a very good player. We need to look at these players. I don't want us to be looking at dead wood players that will come in and just be a mercenary, for example. And that is the risk you take on someone like Rabiot, of course. Yes, right, Man United, CDM, and CBM. I thought that's a new position, my friend. I thought CBM. Central defensive midfielder and centre back Mawea. I like to watch football, have to a lot of goal and assist. We have been starved of goals this last year or so, haven't we? We haven't had the best of times when it comes to goal scoring. We've had a minus goal difference. Good morning to you all. Good morning, Sonny. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, so basically that would be a great signing. Manchester United pull off an Ederson deal. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? £38 million is a snip at the end of the day. And don't be surprised if United do go in for a deal like that. But the top of the show, I mentioned we might do a threesome. It's not as sinister as you think, but it's Fofana, Berg and Rabiot for around 50 million. If Ineos pulled that off, that would be an absolute brilliant deal, to be honest with you, because Manchester United bringing in 3 players for the price of 1 would be very good. But then you run the risk of not playing players first. They have to sit on the bench sometimes, and etc. You know, so you have to be careful when you're signing a bunch of players that you're going to guarantee them some football. Rabiot, Berg and Fofana would be too many, in my opinion, but 50 million for the 3. Would you take that? Would you take that? Marvo, how you doing, my friend? Good morning. Good to see you. What about Pedri coming into United from Barca? Pedri's a fantastic player, of course, another one. And this is the great thing about the United fan base, right? We have ball knowledge. We know about the market. We know who's out there in regards to players. Pedri's another one. Brilliant player. Fell off a little bit in the last year or so, but still a very, very good player in regards to technically. and obviously keeping the ball. And we need that type of player, in my opinion. This is why I am not a big fan of McTominay, because McTominay doesn't keep the ball. If we have players like McTominay in the squad, it's like we can't keep the ball. It's like he hides from the ball. We need players who are willing to take the ball. Mainu does that, but McTominay, players such as this, like to hide from the ball, and we don't need players who hide from the ball, of course. What is your 11 versus Man City? My 11, as I stated, is right back will be Dalot, centre back will be Evans and Licha. My left back will be Luke Shaw if he's fit. If not, it's Harry and Mass. In the midfield will be Mainu in the midfield alongside Casemiro. Then I'll have Bruno as the number 10. I'll have Ahmed on the right, Garnacho on the left, and I have Xerxes up front because Rasmus is injured. Pedri is injured, yeah, he is injured, of course. He had a serious injury in it, and this is what we have to worry about as well, about reoccurring injuries, etc. But we're not in for Pedri at the moment, by the looks of it. We're not in for him, which is a bit sad, to be honest with you, in regards to that. Now, let me bring it on to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is finding it difficult to agree terms with West Ham United. Of course, if Wan-Bissaka does not agree terms with West Ham United, that means the Mazraoui deal could be off, because the Mazraoui deal depends on Wan-Bissaka going to West Ham United. Now, as West Ham cannot afford the fee, this is a problem that we're having at the moment. Players are on astronomical wages and they're not willing to take pay cuts. These players just want to sit on a wage and they're happy with it, and you cannot argue with that at the end of the day, because would you take a pay cut to go to a lesser club? You know, you say, no, I'll fight for my place. This is what's happening with McTominay. This is what's happening with other things. Fermin Lopez, another one. Guys, your ball knowledge is absolutely spot on. Unfortunately, if you were a scout, Irfan, we'll be in a good place right now. But unfortunately, we seem to be very scoped like this in regards to what we want as a transfer. At the end of the day, we're not in for these players. So it's weird that we're not in for these players, but Manchester United seem to not be able, still to this day, not being able to do a few deals at once, which is crazy, because this is the problem we had before Wilcox and Barada and Rashford walked through the door, which is crazy. It's feeling like a Glazer summer. It's feeling like a Glazer summer. I'm going to make a song called It's Feeling Like a Glazer Summer. It does feel like a Glazer summer. And you look out your window and it's raining at the end of the day. So, yeah, these players, these are names that we can drop. There's names all around the world that we can drop, and we can say Manchester United should sign this player, Manchester United sign that player, and it's absolutely fair enough. But it's whether this Manchester United, this new Manchester United regime is going to do that. Are they going to look for these players? And I agree with you, Irfan. These players need to be looked at as well. Marvo, and news about Ligt and Mazraoui. Mazraoui depends on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka has not agreed personal terms, subject to popular belief, with West Ham yet. He's proving too costly for West Ham. Of course, West Ham are signing a couple of players. They've signed a couple of players. They've brought 3 players in, so their budget is less. So Manchester United have not sold Wan-Bissaka yet, but this could open up the door with a swap deal between Inter Milan, Manchester United, Dumfries and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Dumfries could be signing for Manchester United as a swap deal for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's preferred destination is Inter Milan. He said it openly that he would rather go to Inter Milan than he would go to West Ham. Of course, who wouldn't want to go to Milan instead of East London? That's obviously a good point at the end of the day. But he is more interested in Inter Milan than he is with West Ham. So if Manchester United could do a deal with Dumfries, that would be decent. But the problem is that Dumfries can only play right back. In regards to Mazraoui, he could play left side as centre back, right back. He's more versatile. But Dumfries is a good player. And as I was saying in the thumbnail, we could unlock Rashford with good fullbacks, in regards to fullbacks who go forward and can contribute towards overlapping runs and help, that will in turn help players like Rashford. If we don't wait for Casemiro to leave and instead we bring in this replacement, Casemiro, his pride will get the best of him and he will call Ronaldo if he's still available. Well, I'm going to bring in something here, and I'm going to read it out to you guys. This is our salary list, okay? Our salary list. We're looking at Man United's salary list. Casemiro is top of our salary list. He is on 21.7 million per year. He is the top earner at Manchester United. Second is Rashford. Third is Sancho. Fourth is Mason Mount. What do you make of that? So Rashford is on 18.6. Sancho is on 15.5. Mount is on 15.5. How on earth are these players getting paid that amount of money every single week? So Casemiro, number one, on 21.7 million per year. Rashford on 18.6. Sancho on 15.5. And Mason Mount on 15.5. Then it goes down to Fernandes on 14.9. Can you believe that one of our main players is on less than Mount, Sancho, and Rashford and Casemiro? Can you believe that? Can you believe that, guys? I like the song. Thank you, Garrett. Good morning, Garrett. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Madness in it when you think about how much money we're paying out on these players. It's absolutely crazy the amount of money that we're paying out for players that are not actually that good, are they? They're not worth that type of money. Is Mason Mount worth 15.5 million a year? For what exactly? For what exactly? This guy is not Kaka, for goodness sake. Sancho, for we pay 15.5 million for Sancho. That's that's the most expensive tweet I've ever seen in my life. 15.5 million for a tweet, because that's all he's contributed so far at the end of the day in regards to Manchester United. Now, in regards to Matthias de Ligt has had a rallying cry to Manchester United saying that come and get me, I want to come to Manchester United, but it's all well said and done. In the end of the day, Manchester United have to be able to afford the transfer fee. Now, players like McTominay, players like Wan-Bissaka, players like Lindelof, players like Maguire, players like Ederson, have hampered Man United somewhat. They've harmed Man United's transfer window because they do not want to leave, and we cannot push them out the door, and we cannot pay off their contracts because it costs too much, and it doesn't make sense really, because at the end of the day it's going to cost as much to pay out their contracts as it is to buy Ugarte. So it's a bit crazy. We won't have the money anyway, will we, at the end of the day? So these players are not leaving, and this is a problem that we're facing at Manchester United right now. Players reluctant to leave, and Jim Ratcliffe said this a few weeks ago, months ago, sorry, in regards to it's going to take a few years to fix this problem because the mentality at Man United is wrong. Certain players are just staying at the club waiting for their contracts to run out, and we can't do nothing about it. There's nothing you can do legally about it. They're contracted to Manchester United, they're contracted to that wage, and we can't do nothing about it, which is a problem. Casemiro doesn't like being benched. You heard the rumblings in the end of the season with him and Ten Hag rumours that Amrabat did the job well. Well, these players need to pick it up next season, otherwise they will be on the bench. At the end of the day, this is a squad game, and if they cannot accept taking the bench, then they have to take a hike at the end of the day. They have to take their turn when it comes, grab the opportunity. Let's face it, Casemiro hasn't played well for a year. For whatever reason that was. In his first season, he was absolutely pivotal to us. Do you remember the first season when we missed him? We missed him big time. Last season, he wasn't there. He wasn't good at all. And for whatever reason it was, he didn't look fit. His legs look gone. Even in the pre-season, his legs look like they're gone, which is weird at the end of the day because he hasn't played much football. Now, I want to take it back to Man United's salary list again. Now, Bruno Fernandes is 5th on the salary list with 14.9 million a year. Anthony is 6th on 12.4 million a year. Maguire is 7th. My goodness me, Maguire 11.8 million a year for Maguire. Luke Shaw is 8th for 9.3 million a year. I wonder how much money that is per game. I wonder how much that is. It's probably $1 million per game Luke Shaw plays, you know. Ederson 9.3 million a year. Onana, 7.4 million a year, and then we get down to Martinez. Lindelof is 12th, he's on 7.4 million a year. But if you look at what's interesting is that Euro and Xerxes are 13th and 14th, way down the pecking order, which shows you a new dawn for Manchester United, a new start for Manchester United in regards to wages, in regards to not giving players too much money too soon. This is important because at the end of the day, we seem to entice people with money when we should entice them with Manchester United, the brand, the name, the history of Manchester United. They should want to play for Manchester United, not want to play because they're getting a big pay packet. Irfan, Sanderberg have to come now, player for PSG, buying time is up. Yeah, Sanderberg is one that has been off the lips of a lot of people for the last 24 hours. Well, let's wait and see. Manchester United are looking to do a triple deal with Fofana, Berg and Rabiot. Let's see if they can pull that one off. Is Amrabat coming back again on loan? I believe Amrabat will be a Manchester United player next season. That's all I'm saying. I believe Amrabat will be a Manchester United player next season. He's taken pictures with the new jersey. He's done everything. So I believe that he will be a Manchester United player next season. And I think secretly they've held talks, and I think that he will, whether it's on loan or it's a permanent transfer, he will be a Man United player next season. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that. You can pull me up on that if he doesn't. Yep, exactly. And Ten Hag took a little long to pull the plug on Casemiro, and it cost us to the 8th spot. What cost us to the 8th spot is not Casemiro, my friend. It was a 60+ injuries, off-field issues, media barrage on Eric Ten Hag, off-field issues in regards to tweets, in regards to players going to Belfast, things like that. That's what's cost us 8th position. 60+ injuries cost us 8th position. Casemiro was one of the big ones because he wasn't fit. Of course, he was one of the big issues, that we didn't have a midfield there, that he wasn't fit every single game. We need a player who's there 95% of the time, is there in that central midfield position, not injured here every single 5 minutes. We don't need players who are injured every single 5 minutes, do we? We need players who are ready and available, always ready and available. And that's why I would bring in players like Anthony. But people don't like Anthony, but at least these players are ready and available. Bruno, ready and available. Even if he has a little nick or a little knock, he's ready and available for Manchester United. That's what we need. We need players ready and available. Not messing around. No messing around. And Wan-Bissaka is on 5.6 million per year, and he's 15th in the spot. So his wages ain't as high as people think. Pick the ones and force the guys out, I think. Yeah, that's what I would do. That's what Sir Alex would have do. Good morning, Garrett, by the way. I think you read a comment earlier on. Sorry if I didn't read it. But Garrett, absolutely. I would force them out. This is the only way you can do it. And at the end of the day, but what my main worry is, Ineos may see this as bad business practice in regards to if you leave players out, if you leave them in the reserves, it devalues the player, and the player could leave for nothing, and we won't have a value on the player. But if the season does start and these players are not gone, I agree. I would put these players at the back of the queue in regards to first team football, and I'll put them in the reserves and bring things for some of the youngsters. Players like McTominay fighting for my place. For goodness sake, you fought for your place for how long now, mate? You're just not good enough to take us forward. We cannot play survival football anymore. We cannot hope on grabbing a goal last minute. We need to control games. And by controlling games, you need players who are comfortable on the ball, who want the ball. McTominay hides behind the opposition player, like this, right? He will hide behind the opposition player, so he's no option in midfield, so we cannot pass to him. That's why they call him Scooby-Doo. He needs to leave and leave our club alone, for goodness sake. Thank you, Jose Mourinho, for Scott McTominay. He left us in a right mess in regards to that. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier in regards to Wan-Bissaka, he could be going to Inter Milan as West Ham cannot afford his wages. Man United could do a swap deal with Dumfries, of course, and Dumfries is more of an attacking right back than Wan-Bissaka. But it begs the question, why would Inter Milan be willing to do a deal with Manchester United in regards to Dumfries and Wan-Bissaka? Is something going on with Dumfries? Does he have an injury? Is he just not playing well? What's going on with that? Why would they want to swap Dumfries for Wan-Bissaka? These are the questions you have to ask, and these are the questions that we have to bring in to the subject, because why would they want to swap him if he's really good? Good morning, Kenny. How you doing? I almost called you Zubermendi. Goodness me, I wish you was Zubermendi. I can convince you to go to Manchester United instead of Liverpool. Why would you want to go there? Would be the right fit for United, but unfortunately Liverpool might get him. Kenny, I'm afraid you're right. You could be right there, because at the end of the day, Liverpool have the money. Kevin, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Frankie Dye Young. Again, Manchester United. Frankie de Jong, I think you mean, innit? Frankie Dye Young. Yeah, he's moved to Manchester United. Could be off at the end of the day. Yeah, in regards to Kenny, yes, Zubermendi could be going to Liverpool, because Liverpool can afford the transfer fee. We cannot afford the transfer fee, which is the biggest issue at Manchester United right now. We don't have the P's to convince these players, to convince a Sal to Manchester United. Sad as it is, we can't even afford a 50 million release clause. It's mad, isn't it, really? Dumfries doesn't want to resign. What is he going to resign? As soon as he leaves Inter Milan, he might as well resign, going to Man United at the moment, definitely. Wan-Bissaka is 26 years old. That's true. That is very true, yeah. Wan-Bissaka is 26 years old. And Wan-Bissaka looks like he's looking for a last big paycheck before he leaves Manchester United. So he's asking West Ham for way too much money, and he's pricing West Ham out of a deal to sign him. Manchester United have agreed a fee, etc. for Wan-Bissaka, but Wan-Bissaka has not agreed a deal, personal terms. in regards to that, which is absolutely crazy when you think about it, isn't it? Because that deal looked done and dusted, dusted. That deal looked, and at the end of the day, it's disappointing that these players are still hovering around, still clinging on. It's like they don't like Man United and they just want us to do badly at the end of the day. Nick, good morning, how you doing? Enough of these ifs and buts. Get the players in or be honest with the fans and say that it can't be done so we can move on. Nick, something about Manchester United that they've never been really honest. They've been PR spin for many, many years. They do the spin, the PR. As they go every single summer, we have the same thing. We have a little bit of enthusiasm. We sign 1 or 2 players, which are great players, by the way. We signed 2 very good players. Unfortunately, Yoro got injured, which is sad, but this is exactly what I'm talking about, the spin from the Glazers, and this is coming from the Glazers. This is where it's coming from. They sign the checks. They're the ones who get the deals over the line, not Ineos. They own the club. So at the end of the day, we're still going to have Glazer summers. We're still going to have Glazer transfer windows. Yes, there's a little bit more efficiency in regards to the way we do things, but Glazers are still there, and that's what we have to remember in regards to transfers in and out, because they seem to be absolutely incompetent. And every single summer they do the spin. They pay off their media outlets to spin news about Man United, to keep the Manchester United fans on their toes and forget about transfers. For example, talking about the stadium and divert people's attention from the transfers. What needs to be done is the most important thing, which is transfers on the pitch. You know, we need players on the pitch. That's what we need, and we need more players on the pitch than we need a stadium at the moment, because at the end of the day, if we haven't got a good football team, how are we going to fill up a nice big massive stadium? We'll fill up the stadium, but what's the point of having a big lovely nice stadium if we're rubbish on the football pitch? We need to sort out the football pitch first, and Manchester United need to get players in. Aaron Wan-Bissaka for number 2, okay. Dalot number 1. Dalot will be probably right back, yeah. Aaron Wan-Bissaka will be the right back backup. And they'll be rotating again, obviously, of course. But my main worry with Aaron Wan-Bissaka is that he cannot go forward. He's a very low block defender. He's not good at going forward, and that is a problem. And we do need more players who can go forward, because if Dalot doesn't play, or he plays left back, if we haven't got a left back, which has been the problem for the last year, we haven't had a left-sided centre back or left back, which is a big issue. If Dalot has to play on the left, we do need a right back who can go forward. And I feel like a Dumfries, of course, or Mazraoui would be decent to back up for them. I would rather swap Aaron Wan-Bissaka for a Dumfries or a Mazraoui, because we need players who are more productive with the ball, more proactive, can go forward, can cross. Overlapping runs. Manchester United, throughout their history, have been about overlapping runs, attacking football. So on the wing, if a player is going to cut in, which we have a lot of players who like to cut in on the wing, if the players are going to cut in, we need players to overlap on the fullback positions. At the moment, we don't have that. We have it a bit, but it's not quite what we want. It's not good enough at the end of the day in regards to a creative side of things, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we need more players who can go forward, like a Patrice Evra, like a Gary Neville, like a Dennis Irwin, for example. For argument's sake, at the end of the day, we don't have that at the moment. We don't have fullbacks who can do that apart from Luke Shaw. Harry Amass is very promising, and I hope that he can become that player on the left-sided position. But at the end of the day, we have to nurture him in properly, and we have to be careful with the young players as well, not to put too much pressure on them and not to play them too soon, of course. Bayern is for Wan-Bissaka. Bayern for Wan-Bissaka. Goodness me, Bayern will have Eric Dyer and Wan-Bissaka in the defence. God help them. There will be a very, very long time before they win the Bundesliga again if they do that, of course. So just taking it back now, I want to talk about Tony. There's been some talk about even Tony in the media in regards to Manchester United going after Tony. Now, let me just clear this up, right? Manchester United going after Tony right now is totally unrealistic. Tony is 75 million if we got a discount, right? Tony is worth 100 million pounds. Right? If Manchester on the market, right? This is the market. If we got Tony, we would have to pay 75 to 85 million pounds, which is a lot of money. At the moment, if we cannot afford Ugarte, how on earth are we going to get even Tony? At the moment, even Tony is not a priority for Manchester United. I like even Tony as a player. I think he's an absolutely brilliant player and a brilliant, strong, it's something we need, that presence up front, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just don't think we're going to pay that type of money for a even Tony. Even though we like even Tony, I think it's just too much. We don't have the money. We're not owned by Qatar. We're owned by Ineos, of course, and on 27%. So we cannot afford this type of money. And what is also important to remember is that Ineos own 27%. The Glazers own the majority. So why should Ineos? This is the argument you're going to have. Why should Ineos go out there and buy players? Because they're not going to be buying the players. It's the Glazers who are going to be signing the checks, guys. It's the Glazers. At the end of the day, the only reason that Ineos are in the place right now is so that they can negotiate better, so they can have a better scouting network. At the end of the day, the money is not coming from Ineos, it's coming from the Glazers and Manchester United's pocket. It's not coming from Ineos. Now, they got 1 billion, of course, the Glazers, and that has probably gone right in their pocket nicely. They got 1 million from Jim Ratcliffe, and that's gone nicely in their pocket, and that's why we are anti-Glazers, and this is why, because they take the money and they run away. They buy a couple of players, they run away. Manchester United have always needed 500-600 million spent on that squad, and we've never done it. We always leave the job half finished, and it's always leaving every single manager at the club with the job half finished and giving them the minimum chance of success. At the end of the day, Erik ten Hag needs the tools to be successful. Every manager needs the tools to be successful. We are leaving it as the impossible job at the moment. It is the impossible job. When you're run under the Glazers, it is an impossible job at the moment, and we have to remember that no matter what manager came in, this is an impossible job because we are run by the Glazers. Irfan, good morning, Alex. I'd rather Sanderberg than Frankie de Jong. Yeah, I would as well. Alex, good morning. I'd rather Sanderberg because Frankie de Jong obviously rejected us and he's desperate to move now, and all of a sudden, and it will cost more, of course. Glazers have to sell to the club to Qatar. That ship sailed a long time, Manchester United have totally disrespected the state and the country of Qatar. They completely made up lies about Qatar, and they've made it impossible to go back to Qatar now. It'd be very, very surprised if Qatar came in with a Manchester United offer again. I don't think they will. At least he shows we are going for a type of player. Yeah, at the end of the day, no one knows 100% about Sanderberg. We must have done our research on Sanderberg. He must be a decent player. Now, I've done a little bit of research. I think he's decent. Is he the type of player we need? I think he's got legs. He can run in the midfield. He's 10th in the speed of pace in the Premier League. He's quick and he's got legs, and that's what we need in the middle of the park. The only one concern, as I brought in yesterday to the show, is that we haven't heard much about Sanderberg. It's the first time we're really hearing news about Sanderberg in regards to as a player. We haven't heard anything about, Sanderberg, great player, brilliant player, great tackler, this, that and the other. We haven't heard nothing in regards to media. So this is the first time we're hearing about Sanderberg. But Erik ten Hag and Ineos must have done their research on Sanderberg to be wanting a player of that ilk, because he's coming from Burnley, Premier League player, of course, but the only stumbling block could be the 13 million fee. And as I said at the beginning of the top of the show, Man United have 3 players in mind: Fofana, Berg and Rabiot. These 3 players, Manchester United hope to get to a fee of maximum of 50 million. If Manchester United got Fofana, Berg and Rabiot, what would you think of that? The only problem is that will leave us stacked in the midfield, of course, and Manchester United would need to offload players. Saudi Arabia have lost interest in Casemiro. They do not want Casemiro anymore. Wages, even for their standards, is a bit too much, I'm guessing. I'm glad we're not getting so many because we need a clean-up merchant. Yeah, the clean-up merchant was Ugarte, of course, Alex. I understand what you mean, but Zubamendi would have been more of a cover for Mainu, because at the moment we have Mainu and we're playing him into the ground. I don't want us to play these players too much, and I don't want us to play these players into the ground and absolutely kill them before they've even started their career. Yeah, I said it, Kevin, yeah, exactly. I said at the beginning of the show, Manchester United are in for Ederson. He's another option Manchester United could have, and he can go for as little as £38 million, 45 million euros. He can go for that amount of money. So I'm surprised Manchester United are not being in for this offer, this deal. Weeks ago, should I say, sorry, not months ago, but weeks ago, we were in for Ederson, and it sort of went quiet on that front. I'm a big fan of Ederson, and of course, he sound up. I'm a big fan of sorry if there's problems with the sound. I'm a big fan of Ederson, of course. He won he was big. He was instrumental in Atalanta winning the Conference League last season, of course, and was one of their main players. And I would be very happy if we get an Ederson. But things have gone quiet in regards to that. But yesterday there was murmurs that Manchester United could be in for Ederson. We're in for every single midfielder under the sun at the moment. It seems like we're in for a lot of midfielders at the moment, and it's becoming a bit of a mad thing, isn't it? A bit crazy in regards to midfielders at the moment. It's becoming a bit of a nightmare in regards to sound up slow today. Sound up. Is there any problem with my sound, fan? What's going on? Are you having a problem with the sound? Let me know. Sound up slow today. Yeah, I've got a bit of a chesty cough, my friend. I've got a bit of a chesty cough, so you know, Man United are making me ill in this transfer market. So at the end of the day, I've got a little bit of a chesty cough, so I cannot shout too loud today. I've absolutely lost my voice. Manchester United are making me lose my voice, my friend, and this is the problem I'm having. Just turn your volume up, Sal, and you're fine. Let me just take this out. Can you hear me better now? Is that better? Is that better? Do you feel better now? Are you better? Is that better? Turn up your volume and you're fine. Yeah, this is great. Anyway, yeah. Can you hear me better? As long as you can hear me, that's great. I'm happy. Because yeah, I can't shout too much. My throat is gone. My throat is a myth at the moment. I've been shouting far too much for far too many weeks in regards to Manchester United, and it's given me all is right. Thank you so much. Can hear you perfectly, my guys. Definitely, you guys are absolute legends. Thank you for letting me know. Absolute brilliant. Mawia, Kenny, Alex, Irfan, you guys are my saviour. Yeah, I have a little bit of a cough at the moment. And Manchester United are the reason for that. I blame Manchester United everything. Maybe I should blame Ten Hag, because everyone was blaming Ten Hag for everything last season. Ten Hag gave me a cough. Yeah, Ten Hag gave me a cough, and like the only thing they didn't blame Ten Hag for last season was global warming. I think they blamed Ten Hag for absolutely everything last season. You need a day off. No, I'm never going to have a day off. This is absolutely every single day, twice a day. It's Manchester United. We have a lot of things going on. Don't forget on Saturday, by the way, I'm going live for Chatterbox at 5 o'clock. And I'm going to be with you for 4 hours. I'm going to be here for the watch along for 4 hours. So you're going to have to put up with me for 4 hours. I'm going to be talking about transfers. I'm going to be doing the watch along for Manchester City against Manchester United, of course. And that should be a big game. And there'll be a lot of pressure, of course, a lot of emotion going on in that game, because that's what it's about. Manchester United, Man City. Let's beat them for the second time in a row at Wembley. That's what I want. Second time in a row at Wembley. I want us to beat them, of course. Definitely. But also, in regards to my studio and everything, I'm still building my studio, of course. I'm still starting up, and my studio is still in the process of being completed, including sound and everything like that. So I'll be getting that done. No problem at all. But you guys are my saviour. If I'm too low, let me know. If I'm too high, let me know. I do shout a lot, but I have lost my voice. And at the end of the day, thank you, Man United, for making me lose my voice. Ten Hag, that's on you, mate. That's on you, because I blame Ten Hag for everything. Blame me, I'm beginning to sound like Said. Anyway, look, Manchester United, of course, is a big 8 days. Remember, it's only 8 days for the Fulham game. What are your predictions for the Fulham game? I said we'll win 3-0. I believe we'll win 3-0. I believe we'll win comfortably, and Manchester United will move on. The most important game in this opening few games is the Liverpool game at home. Arne Slot will be confident to be smug, of course. I already don't like the guy. I really don't like the guy already. I don't like Arne Slot, and I hope that we smash them at Old Trafford in the opening 5 games of the season, because that's all I care about. 2-1 United against Fulham. It's going to be a tight game. That means it's going to be a nervy, racky game, isn't it? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it is 2-1, to be honest, at the moment. But I would go for 3-0 Manchester United. That's my prediction in regards to Fulham against Manchester United. What about the City game? I believe we're going to beat City 2-1. Again, I think we'll do them again at Wembley. And that'd be an absolutely brilliant morale boost for the team to beat Manchester City twice in a row at Wembley. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Absolutely amazing, guys. In regards to Manchester City, I was just saying that I will be doing a watch along for the Manchester City game. I'll be starting at 5. The game, my time 5, by the way. My time 5. Sorry, I'm in the Middle East. So when I say 5 o'clock, I mean Middle Eastern time. It will be 2 o'clock English time, 2 p.m. English time, and I'll be taking us lot will be going through the watch along, and we'll be going through transfers exactly. Are we waiting until after the Fulham game to sell McTominay? We're waiting till we're basically waiting until the sky turns pink to sell Scott McTominay at the moment. It seems like we are waiting for forever to sell Scott McTominay. It's been 7 years that we've been waiting to sell Scott McTominay. It just seems like a dream. Good morning, Ederson. How you doing, my friend? How are you? I'm very well, thank you. A little bit of a cough, but I'm bringing you the content. I'm bringing you every single day. So guys, I deserve a like and I deserve a subscribe for this, because my throat feels like Scott McTominay's, basically Scott McTominay's ball skills at the moment. Basically, nothing rude in regards to that, by the way. My throat, if my throat was a footballer, it would be Scott McTominay right now. That's what it would be, if my throat was a footballer. Excuse me. I had to cough there, because that is just taking my throat over the top by saying that, of course. But guys, you guys are absolute legends. You're keeping me going. You're giving me the energy. You're giving me, I got the poison, you're the poison, and I'm the energy. Let's go for it. Let's do this, guys. So let's start being a little bit more positive in regards to, we have to be, at the end of the day, we have to be a little bit positive. The transfer window is not open. A lot can happen, of course. A lot can happen. But if things don't happen, we will call it out. And this is what I will say. We have to practice cautious optimism every single day. We have to practice cautious optimism in regards to Manchester United. We cannot accept a 2-player transfer window. Well, one now, isn't it? Because Euro's out. We've only got 1 player in, which is not good enough. We haven't got our midfield in. And how long have we been searching for a midfielder? For goodness sake, it seems like decades. We thought we got Casemiro. We thought he was the guy. But Real Madrid sold us a dud, didn't they? At the end of the day, they knew his legs were gone. They knew Varane's legs were gone. That's why they sold him to us. Real Madrid only sell players if they know that they can no longer do the job for their club. And they know how to get rid of players. We seem to not being able to get rid of players. We seem to be struggling to get rid of players, unfortunately. It's just sad at the end of the day. We have so many mercenaries in the team. All they seem to care about is a payday. Yes, exactly. And this is the problem. It's the mentality in the team. Even Wan-Bissaka cannot leave. He cannot sign for West Ham because he's not happy with the contract they offered him. It's absolutely mercenary, isn't it? And we got to get rid of these players. But at the end of the day, how can we get rid of these players if the teams don't want to pay the money for these players? They have to sit on the bench. They'll have to sit in reserves. They're happy to run down their contract. It's not only about their contracts. They love the world that comes with Manchester United. They love the social media. They love all this business in regards to United. They love the exposure that they get, the boot deals that they get in regards to Manchester United. They don't want to let it go. And this is thanks to the Glazers, Woodward, Murto over the years have really messed us up in regards to players, you know, and wages and money. We're enticing players too much. We're giving players, good morning, Kingdom. How you doing, my friend? It's good to see you again. Thank you for joining me again. We're giving far too much. We were giving far too much wages for players at the end of the day. Now things have changed, as I said. If I look at the wage list at Manchester United, Euro and Xerxes are 13th and 14th from that list. So they're on 7.1 is Euro and 6.5 is Xerxes million a year. At the end of the day, that shows you that there's a swift in Manchester United wages at the end of the day. So that means it's less wages now, which has changed. Sorry for that, bro. I hope you are taking medicine. Augustin, yeah, I've taken medicine. I've taken a lot of medicine. I've taken... It's the fever I don't like. It's a little bit of fever I don't like, but I've been to the doctors. It's not COVID, don't worry, I'm fine. But at the end of the day, it's just a cough. Yeah, it's just, I think I got it from Italy. I got it in Italy a few weeks ago, and it's taken time to come up. But, you know, these things, Man United are making me ill at the end of the day, ain't they? They're making us all ill with all this anticipation and all these promises, these broken promises. They're absolutely killing us, ain't they? Alex, at least Maguire will go next season when he is entitled to 50% of the transfer. The one thing I would say is that Aaron Wan-Bissaka wanted a payoff to leave Manchester United. I mean, it's crazy. Bath time, is it bath time? Hello, welcome to the stream, bath time. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to smash a like. You guys are absolute legends. Aaron Wan-Bissaka wants a payoff to leave Man United. Can you believe? Can you believe the audacity? Can you believe that? Madness. Nick, the club's problems won't be solved this season or even the next. We have to accept this. We have to accept this, and hopefully one day the good times will. They will return, Nick. I'm absolutely certain of that. I'm absolutely certain that the good times will roll and we will get back to where we go. The beast will awaken and we will be back challenged for that title. It will take time and we have to be patient. Of course, we have been patient. It's been 10 years since we won the league, 11 since we won the league. So we have to be patient. And I believe that the good times will roll again. The good times will come again. And hopefully me, you guys are here with me when we're celebrating, because we would have deserved it. But I do think, Nick, that we will surprise a lot of people next season. I do believe that there will be a surprise next season. In regards to Manchester United, I think Manchester United will do well next season, in my opinion. Not too much pressure, I feel. This is a brick wall, no lie, it is a brick wall. Half time. Thank you for mentioning my brick wall. My brick wall is, yeah, I love my brick wall. You like my brick wall? I do like my brick wall. Yeah, at the end of the day, I have a studio being built, and this is my setting for now. And we will have better props coming. You don't worry about that. I will have a proper studio coming my way. I have a studio in London, but I'm living in the UAE now. I couldn't bring it with me, unfortunately. It'd be too heavy. You know, Okerson, I still believe United will sign players before the window. Me too, Okerson. I think we have to be positive in regards to that. We have to believe that things will happen in regards to transfers. I believe that we got 8 days. Things can happen. Talks are going on between various players. As I said at the top of the show, we're in for Fofana, we're in for Berg, and we're in for Rabiot as well. 3 deals for 50 million. If we got a deal like that, it'd be fantastic. But I still believe we need that central defender. The Ligt has had a rallying cry in regards to going to Man United. He wants to come to Man United. He's openly said, please let me go to Manchester United to Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich need to do the deal, because this is a democracy at the end of the day. They need to sell the players if they don't want to play for the club. What are Bayern Munich playing at? Why are they doing this to us? If you were to make a Mount Rushmore of United figures in the new studio, would you have Jemba twice on it? I don't quite understand that, Bath Time. If you were to make a Mount Rushmore of United figures in your new studio, would you have Jemba? And let me tell you a story about Jemba. Right? You're talking about Jemba. I met him in London. on an escalator. I was going up and he was going down. Him and Quinton Fortune were on the escalator. I ran the opposite direction on the escalator to get to meet them. And I said, Quinton Fortune, Jemba, how you doing? I'm a Man United fan. They go, oh, that's really nice. It was a few years ago now. I wish I would have got on my show. I would have got my show. But I'm going to have a lot of new guests on my show, of course, from regards to Man United very soon. It's going to be a great year coming up in regards to this channel. And I want to thank all you guys who are getting involved. Johnson, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Building a broken time takes time. Let's do. Yeah, it is true, Johnson, and we have to remember that. It's very important that the Glazers have left us in such a mess. 20 years of mediocrity, dragging this club through the mud. That's what the Glazers have done to us. They've destroyed the stadium. They've destroyed our wage structure. They destroyed the club, basically. And at the end of the day, we have to be realistic in regards to when things are being fixed, it's going to take time. No other club in the world has had owners like the Glazers. These are the worst kind of owners that you can possibly imagine, you could possibly dream of. You wouldn't even want it in your worst nightmare in regards to the Glazer ownership. The youth movement will play a huge part in our return to glory. Yes, Kerwin, that's what I'm talking about. Manchester United, youth, courage, success. That's what Manchester United are about at the end of the day, is youth, courage, success. And we have a conveyor belt of good young players coming through. Something of like the class of 92 is coming through. The only thing is we don't have Steve Bruce, Gary Pallister, Ryan Giggs, Eric Cantona, Peter Schmeichel in our side anymore. We have a bunch of mercenaries. But these youngsters coming through is very, very promising. And it's very exciting as well, because at the end of the day, I'd rather us play these youngsters than play the players, the mercenaries that are sitting there earning a packet, hoping for their contracts to run down. That's what I'd rather do. I'm very excited about Rice Bennett. I'm very excited about Amas. I'm very excited about Oyendele in the midfield. I'm very excited about Hugo. I'm very excited about Shea Lacey, Fletcher, all these players there, and Collier. I'm very excited about these players, and I feel like we should give them an opportunity next season. It's all about bringing the youth through next season. An absolute good point, Kerwin, absolutely. But in regards to bath time, I'm not sure what you mean by the figures. If I had a figurine at the back, I've got these small little Man United figurines in London. I'm going to ask my brother to send them. I've got Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Peter Schmeichel, Brian McClare, believe it or not, as well. Who are the mercenaries in the squad? The mercenaries in the squad are Scott McTominay, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, as you know, because he doesn't want to leave, he wants a payoff for Man United, just so you know. Those players, Ederson, as I said, when you look at the wage structure at Man United, I've got it here. Ederson is on 9.3 million a year, Ederson. He's not going to get that anywhere else in the world. Maguire is on 11.8 million a year. He's not going to get that anywhere else. No chance at all. Lindelof is on 7.4 million a year. Now, you look at these players, right? You look at these players in regards to wages. These are more than Manchester City. These are more than Liverpool. You know, when you think about what players, what they've earned, what trophies they've won, it's diabolical that they're getting even near that money. Yeah, Obi Martin as well. Sorry, mate. Yeah, Cohen. Obi Martin. Watch out for Obi Martin. I was going to leave him to last, but he is going to be an absolute baller next season. Obi Martin is going to be an absolute madman next season. I will tell you, he will make his debut. He's one to watch yet to grow under Ruud van Nistelrooy. He is one to watch under Ruud van Nistelrooy, of course. Ruud van Nistelrooy, under the guidance of the great Ruud van Nistelrooy, Obi Chido Martin will turn into an absolute beast. See, someone called Tommy a mercenary to mercenary. It is wild, but at the end of the day, mercenary doesn't have to be just money, in my opinion. I think mercenary means that you won't leave the club because it's not just about money, it's about social media following, about everything that is involved in Manchester United in regards to exposure. Now, someone like McTominay wouldn't want to leave Manchester United even if he's sitting on the bench. For me, that's like a mercenary. He doesn't want to leave Manchester United because of the exposure that he will get playing for Manchester United. It's not just about the wages, it's about the exposure. He doesn't want to leave Manchester United, and that for me is a mercenary. At the end of the day, Manchester United want to rid of McTominay. They do want to sell McTominay, but he doesn't want to leave, and we can't force him out the door. And we are full of players like that. Jim Ratcliffe's basically said it himself, it's going to take years at the end of the day, because these players are waiting to run down their contracts. He said because they wanted the club to make an upgrade. We've turned down bids for McTominay. He hasn't turned down the moves. He has turned down the moves. He turned down the move to Fenerbahce. I was in Turkey a couple of weeks ago, and on the Turkish newspapers they said that he turned down the move. It won't be reported here. It won't be reported in the UK. But he's turned down the move to Turkey. He could have went to Fenerbahce or Galatasaray at the end of the day. But he doesn't want to go to those clubs. There was 30 million on the table. In regards to McTominay, I think, how much would he go for? McTominay is worth 30 million, I think. Anything less than that, we shouldn't sell him anyway. But this is why we won't move on in regards to McTominay. If we've got players like McTominay, we're just not going to move forward in regards to the long run, in regards to the shape of our side. If we want to control games, if we want to be technically brilliant in midfield, we need someone better than McTominay. Now, if we keep McTominay, then fair play. Keep him on the bench. That's it. That's all he's good for at the moment. And he's good for grabbing a goal at the last minute. This is why we should have bought Declan Rice last summer or the summer before. The money we paid for Anthony could have gone towards Rice CDM for years. For years starts sorted. And yeah, it could have been sorted us out for years. And let's have it right. Rice is a good player. Rice is a good player. He is. Slightly overrated in my opinion, but then again I was watching him for England and I was a bit disappointed with Rice during the European Championships. But you got it right there. We've made bad business decisions over the years in regards to signing players that we don't need, overpaying for players when we could have sorted out that central midfield position. Yeah, if McTominay gets a year extension, he'd get 50% off his transfer. That's why he doesn't want to leave now. Mercenary. Thank you, Alex. Johnson, the Glazers have out stupid contracts to underperforming players. I believe Ineos will fix it, but it will take time because at the end of the day, Ineos' hands are tied. They cannot get rid of players if they don't want to leave unless they want to pay out their contracts. But then that won't make sense, will it? Because then we would have spent the money on paying out players' contracts when it could have went towards players, of course. We have to wait till their contracts. Yeah, he's not. Rice is naturally a defender, Bath time. He's a defender naturally, isn't he? I mean, it shows sometimes. I'm a bit worried about the way he's back to play. He's very square, if you know what I mean. He's not really mobile enough. And I don't think he offers the team a fantastic cover. I don't. I feel like for England, he was one of their worst players. He was England's worst player along with Harry Kane. Let's get it right. He was England's worst player. But of course, Man United do need a defensive midfielder. I would go after a different player to Declan Rice myself. In my opinion, Ugarte was that guy I wanted, but it looks like he's out of the radar. Ederson is another one I want. I wanted João Neves. He's not. He's going to PSG, of course. Sad, isn't it? Really, when you think truthfully, I don't blame Wan-Bissaka for wanting them to move and over West Ham because they will almost all stay in the mid-table. Then, yeah, I agree. I think that Inter Milan will be a good move for Wan-Bissaka. If we could do a deal with Inter Milan and swap for Dumfries, that will sort of cover us on the right back position. But the only thing is that Mazraoui, we've agreed personal terms with Mazraoui, and it's going to be a sad end to that deal, isn't it? Really, because Mazraoui, the one thing about Mazraoui is he can play centre-back, he can play left-sided centre-back, he's very, very versatile. Dumfries is not. Yeah, Deadwood, when clear out, 2-3 mark. Yeah, it's going to take 2 or 3 windows to clear out the Deadwood. It's going to take a while, to be honest, because these players are not shifting at the end of the day. And we don't have the money to... The only thing we can do, in my opinion, the only thing we can do, and I don't know why they haven't done it before, is make these players very cheap. Like, for example, McTominay 20, you can get rid of him. Lindelof 5, Maguire 10. You know, you can do things like that. You can do deals like that, but then you cut a loss, don't you? But then you can put the money you make from them into another midfielder, but then the squad will be smaller. This is the contradictions that you'll have in regards to players going in, players going out. It's difficult, especially when players don't want to leave, unless you sell them for a ridiculous fee, which is like, yeah, of course, 10 million, 50 million. We sold Van der Beek for 800,000. Not even a National League player goes for 800,000. That is an absolute ridiculously sad deal that happened. Because and if anything represents the Glazers, it is that deal. Van der Beek came to Man United for 35 million. He went for 800,000. Mad, isn't it, when you think about it? Mad. Do you think that bath time? Do you think there's elements of brinkmanship with the Ligt and Mazraoui? As for a pre-season, they just need fitness with them, presumably. Understand Ten Hag's system and late moves are still possible. Late moves are still possible, yeah. And at the end of the day, these deals could still happen. There's no smoke without fire, as I said many times. These deals could still happen, and there's still time. There's 8 days left. But as you said there, to implement them into the side, to make them match fit, is very important, so they won't be in the side straight away, which is why I wanted those players in the pre-season, so that we can build up fitness. Hopefully we'll have some news this week in regards to any one of those players. It would be great, but with Wan-Bissaka not going to West Ham, it has hampered the Mazraoui deal somewhat. The Mazraoui deal was dependent on the Wan-Bissaka going to West Ham. Now it looks like Manchester United will have to do another deal with Inter Milan in regards to Dumfries. Dumfries has openly said that he wants to come to Manchester United, so that deal could be done in regards to that, and we can move on in regards to Wan-Bissaka. But Wan-Bissaka and his little payoff is also an issue. He wants a payoff for Manchester United to leave Manchester United. What contracts are we giving these guys? Because it seems like they have all the power. It's madness. We've got to get rid of this player power at the club, and we've got to move on from player power very, very quickly in the future. Swap deals: Sancho for Ugarte, Wan-Bissaka for Dumfries, McTominay for a box Oreos or cookies. I like Oreos. At the end of the day, sorry, that deserves a cough. Every time I mention McTominay, I get a cough. Swap deals are notoriously difficult to do, of course. PSG don't need another attacking player. They wouldn't be in for Sancho, otherwise they would have bought him by now. We would have swapped him. We would have used him as leverage to buy Ugarte, but it looks like they don't want Sancho. His wages are also astronomical. His wages are 350 grand a week. I've got it here. Sancho is on 15.5 million a year. It's all right for some, isn't it? I think it's due to PSG. If we sell cheap, we need to make money for loss, which is ridiculous to think selling something you can leave, you can less money. Yeah, exactly, Alex, exactly. You know, we'll have to, the way is to sell cheap. That's the only way we could do it. Unfortunately, this is going to take time to rebuild our reputation in the transfer market. to get players and build up 100 million players. Jim Ratcliffe said before, we have no 100 million players. He said also, he compared to Real Madrid, he said, look how many 100 million pound players Real Madrid have, and look how many we have. We have none, apart from maybe, I would say, Mainu is 100 million. That's about it at the moment. No other player in our squad is worth 100 million, which is a representation of how we've been run over the years, how we've been run down to the ground over the years. It's madness, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy that we don't have any 100 million. When Manchester United, we should have 100 million Euro players in our squad, but we have none apart from Mainu, which is a youth product, of course. Dabashish, how you doing, my friend? Ligt, any update? Nothing at the moment, but Ligt has said he wants to move to Manchester United. He's told Bayern Munich that he wants to move to Manchester United, so it's a biding time at the moment. We need to see what happens with transfers at the moment, whether Wan-Bissaka leaves or whether McTominay leaves, whether Ederson leaves, Lindelof, Maguire. None of these players seem to be leaving. They're holding on for dear life at the end of the day, and we need to sell before we can buy, unfortunately. But there is news, as I spoke to Swedish Rumble yesterday, one of the finance guys, that Manchester United do have credit. And it's whether Ineos want to go into their credit yet. Whether they want to go into their bank and take out some money to buy these players. We do have a backup plan. Let me tell you this right now, Manchester United do have a backup plan. So hopefully we will get a couple of signings through the door minimum. Just be on it, just be patient, and we'll see what happens. I think it's more about cash flow than PSR or PSG. Is 85% of your total profit. Being able to spend on wages, transfers, agent fees, can spend 300 million before we reach that limit. Yeah, exactly. And these are the things that are openly forgotten in regards to transfers. Transfers are really, really difficult in regards to not only that, agent fees, other fees, insurance fees, lawyer fees, all these fees come into the question when you're doing transfers. Swap deals are notoriously difficult to do because it's agents, obviously money exchange between agents. And who gets the most money? Who gets money? Is he worth more than that player? Should I get a small percentage, or should he get a small percentage? It's a big argument, you know. Abdullah, big up this channel. I still feel him still not leave the world. Big up Abdullah, by the way. Abdullah Owan, big up yourself. Thank you for joining the channel. It is. I'm fuming as well, but you know, it's the hope that kills you in regards to these transfers and these players leaving. We have a lot of talk before the season that these players were leaving, but at the end of the day, these players are on so much money, and we cannot push them out the door that it's impossible to get rid of them at the end of the day. And we're going to just have to bide our time and wait till they run out their contracts. And if that means that they sit on the bench, if that means that they sit in the reserves, so be it. We have to try and force these players out. It's what Sir Alex Ferguson would have done. He would have forced these players out. If we can get De Ligt and Ugarte, perfect squad. Yeah, just those two would make a huge difference to Manchester United the way we're going forward. Manchester United have inquired about Ederson. Ederson can go for £38 million. From Atalanta. He's another brilliant player. If we got him in, I would be absolutely delighted. Brilliant player. Andre Neto as well from Fluminense, of course. He's another unknown relatively, but 5 caps for Brazil. He's another unknown relatively that we can go in for. He's a beast in midfield. He's only 5'9", but he is a beast. He's an absolute warrior in that midfield, and we need warriors in that midfield, to be honest with you. If I'm being totally honest, we do need a central midfielder, CDM, who can clear up and who can act as a shield in front of that defence, because at the moment we have no one who can act as a shield, someone who's got the legs. Casemiro can do it off the bench. I don't think he's good enough for a 60, 70 game a season. You know, I think he's there for bit part play. And that's a problem because he's on a lot of money. He's our most paid player. As I said, Casemiro is on 21.7 million a year. He's our highest paid player. How much is this guy on? 400,000 a week? 500,000 a week? Absolutely madness. So it wouldn't make business sense to leave Casemiro on the bench. It would be an absolute waste of money. So that's how they're going to think. They're going to think we can't put Casemiro on the bench. He's too much of an asset. He's getting paid too much money. It's really ridiculous how much money we're paying these players. We should not be paying these players that much money, especially players whose legs have gone. It's madness when you think about it. It's crazy when you think about it. And the way we've been run over the last 20 years has been absolutely diabolical. We are full of mercenaries now. We've created a culture that is mercenary based. It's like, you want money, go to Man United. You want to retire, go to Man United, get your last big paycheck. And that's what I didn't want. I never wanted that at Manchester United. I never wanted us to be a mercenary club. We were never that. Do you remember the days when we were 40 grand a week maximum? We had a cap on wages. Do you remember that? Maybe we should have a cap on wages now, and maybe we should move on from that. We are moving on somewhat in regards to the new signings, Euro and Xerxes. Euro is only on 7.1. I say only, and Xerxes is on 6.5. So way down the pecking order. When you think about Casemiro is on 21.7 and Euro is on 7.1, it goes to show you, doesn't it, how much more wages is he getting? So that means Euro and Xerxes could be on 60, 70,000 a week, which is much better than 200, 300,000 a week, of course. Anthony is on a lot of money as well, 12.4. We offered Anthony about 4 times his wages, which was pathetic. Of course, he didn't need to do that. He's playing for Ajax. And that just goes to show you how badly run we were over the years in regards to that. And it's madness when you think about it, guys. But you guys are absolute legends for joining me today. It's been an absolute brilliant show. It's flowed. I haven't been 100%, but you guys have kept me going because you guys are absolute legends, absolutely elite people. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to smash a like as well. It's very important. I'm on my road to 4,000 subscribers, so let's keep it moving. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep going, guys. But one thing I would say is that just be more, just try and be positive. I know it's really difficult in this at the moment with being let downs. Of course, the Garte deal gave us a big punch in the stomach. Of course, it wasn't a good news, of course, but there are others out there, and we could strike deals very soon. There will be here we goes coming. Just be patient. 8 days to the season starts. Manchester City on Saturday, I'll be doing a watch along for that, and we will see the squad by then. Hopefully there's a big difference in the squad, and hopefully by the first game against Fulham on the Friday, we have a different squad. We have a couple of players in, and it will be exciting times occurring. Casemiro can only be effective when we play on the front foot against the bottom feeders in the league. I wouldn't trust him to handle clubs in the top 7. And this is the problem we're going to have going forward, isn't it? You know, we need a player who can play against every team, don't we? We need a player who's ready, fit and ready to play every single game. And not players who can only play against certain clubs. And this is the problem we're going to have. Guys, thank you so much. You guys are absolute legends. We'll be back later on for Chatterbox. If anything breaks, I will be here live for you guys. There is a Here We Go coming very soon. It's imminent, as I said, and it could come anytime between now and the Fulham game, but there are a number of deals that Man United are working on, and hopefully we can get these deals over the line. It is difficult because of FFP. It is difficult because of the finances and players leaving. Players don't want to leave. Players want to hold on, and that is a difficult thing at the moment that we're having to deal with right now. But guys, brilliant show. Thank you so much. I hope you have a brilliant day. See you later for Chatterbox anyway. 2 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Central European time, 5 p.m. Middle Eastern time where I am. So guys, all the best. I shall see you later. Have a fantastic day.